What is going on, guys? Crucible here, and the set 4 leaders for Dragon Ball Super Fusion World, the Ultra Limit set, have finally been revealed. So today's video, we're going to go over all the leaders, talk about what they do. We don't really know what the rest of the set kind of looks like in terms of how they're going to help facilitate some of these leaders, but we can at least talk about what each of these leaders are doing, and then kind of talk about the respective battle card stuff that might be able to help these guys from what we already have. So let me know what you guys think down below after the video is all said and done, and let's kind of get into it. So we got UI Goku is in red. This is our fifth Goku leader in red. We got Starter Ku, Universe 7, Top Ku, Daima Goku, and now this guy, which is just crazy. So on his front side, 15k power, standard front side leader, but he awakens at 3 instead of 4, which is interesting because he's not a 25k leader. So that's interesting. And then on his awakened side, 20,000 power, activate battle once per turn. You choose up to 1 battle card in a battle area, and this card's original power becomes the same as that card's power for the battle. So when you swing with this guy, if say you're going up against green and it's the later end of the match and there's a Broly on board, you swing with this guy and you can make this guy explode in power from 20 to 45,000 by selecting the Broly as the leader. I think there's some cool tech here. Now that said, I think this is probably going to be heavily dependent on A, what you're going up against, and B, what kind of support this leader can get. Maybe Red's finally going to get some 30, like maybe a 40k card for 6 energy. Maybe Red's finally going to get a 6 energy cost card that goes up. That's 40,000 power. Because the thing being with this guy is that you need to have cards available on both sides of the field that you are able to select. Having to rely on your opponent to play something is not always going to be beneficial, considering that you're not always going to run green, which is the high-hitting stuff. You're not always going to run into a Goku Black that's going to have a 6 cost drop on the board. I mean, every deck is probably going to have a double striker, so I mean, obviously you can make this guy go up to 35,000, but having a battle card that is able to get a bit higher than 35,000 it would be beneficial for this guy. But I mean, that being said too, Red's always been kind of a stacked card or stacked archetype anyway, so I mean, getting this guy up by 15,000 isn't the worst thing either. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of support this leader gets, depending on if he's going to get something that's more than just what Red has in its arsenal currently. Maybe there's some better stuff. Maybe there's some other stuff that can be taken into account here. Like maybe Margarita will help benefit this too, because you can boost up a battle card by 10,000 extra. I don't know. We'll have to see what kind of other support comes with this, but this is pretty cool tech for a red leader. Then we got Gohan in blue. He is a... Oh, wow. Okay, so on his unawakened side, he is 15k power. Okay, yeah, so he's a standard leader on his front side. Then on his back side, activate main once per turn. You discard 1 card from your hand. And then during this turn, the next time that you use an extra with both Saiyan and Earthling in its special traits from your hand, reduce the cost by 2. Okay. Does this work with the new Gotenks that came out? The Gotenks extra card? I'm looking at it right now. Give me a second. I don't think so. Earthling and Saiyan? Yeah, that would be the Gotenks card, wouldn't it? Yeah, okay. So the Galactic Donut extra card is a Saiyan and an Earthling card, which allows you to draw 2 cards and then freeze an opponent from attacking next turn. So this is kind of interesting. So you basically get to play that card for free. It's kind of a niche. What other Saiyan Earthling cards are there? Reduce the cost by 2. Sword of Hope? Would it be Sword of Hope be one? Or Final Hope Slash is what it's called? Yeah. Could be Final Hope Slash. Could apply to that, I think. Gallic Gun wouldn't. Girls with Short Hair wouldn't. I'm assuming we're going to be getting a lot of... a decent amount of Saiyan Earthling extra cards in this set. To justify this ability, because as of right now, the only thing that this is really hitting is maybe Final Hope Slash, and also the Galactic Donuts. So we need more versatility for this type of effect to be good, but I think there's a possibility that we could see that. Either way, I mean, it's not a bad card. It's milling from your hand, which... from what we saw with the SR Go tanks, you mill from the deck too. So maybe there's more cards that allow you to... maybe there's more cards that will allow you to mill. And you get some additional effects with battle cards that have a certain number of cards in your drop, maybe. But I think we need to see more from Blue in order to really gauge how good this Gohan's actually going to be. Then we got Vegeta. Vegeta is interesting. So he's normal on his front side. On his back side, though, he's going to activate main, where once per turn, place 1 of your energy into its owner's drop. And then if you have 4 or less energy, play up to 1 Saiyan-only battle card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. This is Green's first low-ball deck. This is going to be a deck that probably will heavily rely on not playing any of your high-end cards. So Broly's probably not going to get Broly's probably not going to get a lot of play in this deck. Cell's probably not going to get a lot of play in this deck. You could maybe run Cell, actually, just because he reduces your energy by 3, but you need other cards that's going to be able to ramp you down. So like what? You stack yourself up to 8, you play 8 cost Cell. You go down to 5, and then you activate this ability to go down to 4, and you're at 4 or less energy, so then you're able to play... But then you're able to play a Saiyan-only card with a cost of 3 or less. You could probably make that work. But I don't see the high ball stuff being used in Green in this deck at all. We kind of already saw decks kind of pushing this direction with Piccolo. Piccolo still required you to be at 8 energy, but the way that Piccolo was kind of designed and wants to be played is that you want to play more mid-range stuff with Piccolo and not necessarily rely on the boss cards at the end. So I think this was an inevitable conclusion for Green to kind of focus back down to this and kind of balance itself out in that regard. But what Saiyan cards do we really have that go for 4 or less? So, I mean, 4 cost KO Goku. No, he goes for 5. No, he's 4. Is he 4? He might be. No, he's 5. I'd have to look. I'd have to look. It's really early in the morning. I'm not in a straight mindset right now. But yeah, I mean, we got the Raditz, the 3 cost Raditz that ramps up by killing a Earthling. You got the 3 cost SR Goku that got revealed for this set. So I think this is cool. I think having a different play style. I said that I complimented this with Piccolo too, and it still applies to Piccolo. But it's nice to see Green like having like a different means of play rather than having to just get to 8 energy as fast as possible and then play all your boss monsters. The variety I think in Green is good. So this is really cool. I kind of like this. Then we got another Boo. We got Boo tanks, basically. So, again, standard on the front side. And then on his Awakened side, only once per turn can he draw a card. And then as an auto once per turn, when your battle card with Majin or Evil Wizard in its special traits is KO'd, switch this card or up to one of your energy into active mode. So they learned from the Piccolo leader, and you're limited in terms of your draw power. You can only draw once off your leader. So either you're getting an extra swing on this guy for free, essentially, or you're gonna be boosting up your energy back up by 1. I mean, I think this is fine. This is definitely better than the other Boo that we got. And maybe that's why we're getting, maybe as they were getting ready to release set 3 and they were working on set 4, they realized that the Boo was already undertuned, and they decided to just make a new one. Not 100% sure. But this is heavily going to depend on what Majin and Evil Wizard support that we're going to get. Because the problem being is that there's not a whole lot of Majin or Evil Wizard support at this moment. Evil Wizard, you got the two barrier Bobbity cards, which unless they're in rest mode, you cannot interact with them. So KOing them, well, I know there's the one Bobbity has. The one Searcher Bobbity you can KO. The other one you cannot. And then Majin Buu. I mean, there's some Majin Buu cards that aren't barrier that you could throw into this deck. So those you could probably KO. Yeah. I mean, but this also is auto once per turn. So this could activate on your opponent's turn as well. So you could essentially get an energy back on defense, and then you can switch this guy to active on your turn. So yeah, there's some tech there, actually. There's some tech with this guy. You could do some stuff with this. Again, I think it's wholly going to depend on what ends up happening with Majin and Evil Wizard. Hopefully they get more support, which I'm assuming that we are going to get in some variety, but we shall wait and see. Very cool, though, that we have a Majin Buu that's actually like playable, though. And then we got Baby in black. So standard on the front side again. Permanent skill. You can also use rest mode battle cards with Brainwashed or Machine Mutant in their special traits in combos, and then he draws on swing. So essentially a defensive leader. What's interesting here is that going back, there is not a single 25k leader in set 4, which is interesting. So yellow is still without a 25k leader. Black has a pseudo 25k leader with Bardock. Green does not have a 25. Green has Broly, I guess. But Broly's kind of dead in the water right now. Okay, so yeah, so Baby is going to be a bit more defensive. In terms of machine mutants, we don't have many machine mutants, right? We got maybe 2 machine mutant cards. Like Lude. Lude's a machine mutant, I think. Maybe Dr. Mew. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of these cards we haven't really seen played just yet. We haven't seen any Brainwash stuff, and we're very limited on Machine Mutant at the moment. So it's really going to depend on what those cards end up doing for Baby, but I think having the defensive utility of being able to use your rest mode cards in combos, I think is actually pretty cool. It's really going to be I think what's cool about this is that your opponent's going to really want to focus up on board and really hammer in on clearing, making sure your board's clear so you can't use those in combos. Which will also safeguard Baby's life as well. So I think that's pretty interesting. We'll just have to kind of wait and see, I guess, what the battle card situation looks like for Brainwash and Machine Mutant. But cool. We got our first villain in black, so that's awesome. And then finally, we're going to get into the Daima leaders for the starter decks. Daima comes out next month. or next month, next week, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, let's get into it. Goku front side, same as all the others. But on his Awaken side, activate main once per turn. Choose up to one of your battle cards and it gets 5,000 power for the turn. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 5,000 for the turn. So this is essentially like, it's cool because it's almost like, this is almost like Starter Coup, but on offense. And you get a little bit of extra tech with boosting one of your cards by 5,000 and then minusing one of your opponent's cards by 5,000. So you got a 10,000 power discrepancy between your boosted card and their negated card, which I think is cool. And then we already have cards that kind of already do this, like Kamehameha is a good extra card. You could probably couple this with Kamehameha and get a lot of value out of it. Essentially minusing something by 10,000 and then boosting up your leader by 20,000 with Kamehameha. So you have what would that be? 30,000 power discrepancy? Yeah, it'd be about 30,000 power. So like you could almost guarantee a swing, a kill on board with that kind of tech. And considering that this is free, Kamehameha is only one cost. Yeah, there's some utility here, and I like this. Now, I think me personally, red has always been an offensive deck. It's always been the aggro deck for the most part. So I think this leader will still be better than Starter Coup in most cases. But I mean, Starter Coup still has his usability where you can kind of throw a deck together of just a bunch of mishmash cards with not a whole lot of synergy, and you can make it work in Starter Coup. Whereas I think depending on what comes with this starter deck, you might be limited in terms of how you kind of want to build this, because this deck probably wants to do something very specific. So we'll have to see what the rest of the starter deck stuff looks like, but this is, I mean, Goku's pretty cool. And then finally, we're ending it on Vegeta. Vegeta is normal on his front side, and then on his back side, though, activate main once per turn, you pay an energy, and then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 1 or less, and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. We already got some leaks in terms of what is in the Vegeta starter deck. We know that the Vegeta Daima is getting another double striker in Vegeta, another double strike Vegeta, which basically bottom decks a 3 costs or less and replaces itself in hand when played. We know that he's getting a Piccolo that's going to lower the cost of something by 1, which is good, which is cool too. We already have a lot of stuff in blue that minuses cost. We have the 1 cost Mai, which is able to lower something by 1. We have the 3 cost Vegito, which if it stays on board, everything on your opponent's board is lowered in cost by 1. So there's already a lot of like minusing cost tech in blue already. What I want to see from this Vegeta, though, is more. I want to see something like Satan City Hercule, which that can minus something by 2. I want to see just more options for this Vegeta before I can say if this leader is actually good or not. It's kind of hard to, you know, to say that this guy's going to be good when he's only bottom decking a 1 cost and you're having to pay an energy to do that. So if we have stuff that you can play out that can lower the cost of things and make it easier for this guy's effect to go off, then sure. Then I think this Vegeta could actually be pretty decent. But as it stands right now, even with the limited pool, it's hard to say if this is even viable. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what releases with the starter deck to make this better. But all in all, really cool. All these leaders are awesome. Again, strange that there's no 25k leader in this set. Might not get one till the set 5 probably, and that's when yellow will finally get a defensive juggernaut to kind of do what it needs to do. But yeah, I mean, I like all the leaders. We got some variety, a little bit of variety. I'm hoping red steps away from Tournament of Power after this set. Because I feel like they're really burning through the Tournament of Power stuff. I mean, Majin Buu stuff in blue I think is fine. But we already have Majin Buu stuff happening in yellow as well, so it's like we need maybe a bit more variety. Maybe a bit more variety in blue would actually be kind of nice. The Satan City, like while it wasn't like a crazy archetype, it definitely was like different. But we could probably pull something in blue that's not Majin Buu arc. Saiyan Saga for green, I think is fine. It's not like crazy. But I do think that having a low ball deck like this Vegeta is actually really good for green too. It's a different style of play that's not really seen in green, so I think a lot of people will probably flock to Vegeta here for that reason alone. Majin Buu, I mean, it's a shame the first Majin Buu wasn't like all that great, but it looks like they're trying to course correct it, and I think we're definitely going to see some more support for Evil Wizard and Majin, which I think is cool. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And then Baby 2, it's one of those things where it's kind of hard to see where he'll stand due to not knowing what the bulk of his cards are going to look like, but we'll just have to wait and see. Very cool nonetheless, though. All the new leaders are awesome. And we know we're going to get some semi-unique animations for everything as well, too. So let me know what you guys think down below. Which of these leaders are you guys excited for? Let me know down in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more Fusion World content, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.